the psychic who predicted JFK's death and the rise of the Antichrist. The Jeane Dixon mystery. She wasn't born famous. In fact, when Jeane Dixon first opened her eyes in 1904, no one could have guessed that this little girl from Medford, Wisconsin, would one day shake the highest offices of power with nothing but her words. Her parents were devout German Catholics. Her childhood was filled with faith, not fortune-telling. But fate had other plans. At the age of 8, while visiting a Chinese fortune-teller in Los Angeles, Jeane was told something chilling. "You will become a famous seer. You will help kings and presidents. You will change the world." From that moment on, visions began to haunt her dreams and waking hours. But this isn't a story about her childhood. This is a story about what she saw, and what may still be waiting to come true. Her first and most infamous prediction came decades later. In 1956, writing for Parade magazine, Dixon published a brief political forecast. She predicted that the 1960 U.S. election would be won by a tall, young Democrat. But she didn't stop there. He will die in office, assassinated, struck down before completing his term. When John F. Kennedy was elected in 1960, many remembered her words. And when he was gunned down in Dallas on November 22, 1963, the world was stunned by how eerily accurate she had been. Though skeptics later pointed out she also incorrectly suggested Richard Nixon might win, few could deny the haunting similarity between her vision and reality. But Jeane Dixon wasn't just predicting politics. Her life was a strange blend of celebrity socialite and spiritual mystic. She married James Dixon, a car dealership owner, and by day, she designed homes and wrote cookbooks. By night, she gazed into crystal balls and read the stars for Washington's elite, and Washington listened. Presidents, including Franklin D. Roosevelt, Nixon, and Reagan, took her calls. First ladies invited her to tea. FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover reportedly admired her abilities. They wanted answers about the future, and she gave them. Beyond American soil, her visions stretched across the globe. One of her most cryptic prophecies spoke of a false prophet who would emerge from the Middle East, rallying millions behind him, only to plunge the region, and perhaps the world, into conflict. In 1979, Ayatollah Khomeini returned to Iran, sparking a revolution that would change the balance of power. Later, Saddam Hussein's wars shook the region. Decades after that, Osama bin Laden's name spread across headlines following the events of 9/11. Was one of these men the false prophet she saw? Or was the real figure still yet to appear? No one could say for certain. But not all her visions were about war and politics. Dixon also foresaw the rise of space exploration. Before Sputnik ever launched, she claimed the Soviet Union would send the first satellite into orbit. And in 1957, the beeping of Sputnik 1 from outer space confirmed it. She spoke of technology that seemed impossible at the time. One day, people will carry small devices in their pockets, speaking to anyone in the world through waves that travel unseen through the skies. Decades before smartphones and wireless communication became reality, Dixon described a world where technology shrank distances and connected humanity. But Dixon's prophecies weren't just global, they were personal. She warned Richard Nixon to guard against betrayal, hinting that scandal would force him from power. Watergate, as we know, proved her right. She also cautioned Ronald and Nancy Reagan about the danger of assassination. In 1981, John Hinckley Jr. fired a bullet that struck President Reagan in the chest. He survived, but barely. Even when Dixon's warnings didn't prevent disaster, they cast long shadows. Still, not every prediction came true. Jeane Dixon's legacy is full of misses, too. She once predicted that World War III would erupt in 1958. It didn't. She claimed the world would end in 2020. Clearly, we're still here. She foresaw China becoming the world's largest Christian nation, which has yet to happen. And she said extraterrestrials would reveal themselves to humanity by the year 2000. a date that passed without first contact. For every fulfilled prophecy, there were others that fell flat. Some called her a fraud. Others said no prophet gets it right 100% of the time. But perhaps her most haunting vision was of a child born on February 5, 1962, during a rare planetary alignment. She said this child would grow up to become the Antichrist, a figure who would one day lead humanity into a catastrophic war. For decades, conspiracy theorists have searched for this person. Some claimed it was Saddam Hussein. Others, more recently, suggested new leaders rising in the Middle East fit the timeline. But no clear answer has ever surfaced. And so the question lingers, does this figure still walk among us, waiting to fulfill a dark destiny? Dixon's warnings weren't always dire. She also saw a world transformed by human progress and spiritual awakening, but only if mankind could resist the temptations of power and greed. She envisioned a future where space travel became routine, artificial intelligence assisting humans in everyday life, a battle between science and spirituality that would define the 21st century. And when you look around today, at smartphones, AI algorithms, space tourism, and culture wars, it feels as though we're living in the world she glimpsed. But Jeane Dixon never claimed her visions were her own. She believed her prophecies came from God, warning humanity to change course before it was too late. Despite her devout Catholic faith, she practiced astrology, read crystal balls, and published horoscopes. She reconciled it all by saying she was simply a messenger. Whether people listened or not was their choice. Throughout her career, Dixon published books like A Gift of Prophecy and My Life and Prophecies. Sharing her visions with the masses, she became a media sensation, appearing on talk shows and in newspapers, and her syndicated horoscope column was read by millions across America. For some, she was a beacon of spiritual insight. For others, she was a cautionary tale of vague guesses wrapped in mysticism. And yet, even her harshest critics admitted, when she was right, she was disturbingly right. Jeane Dixon passed away in 1997 at the age of 93, but the echoes of her predictions remain. Today, whenever political tensions rise, when world leaders fall, when technology leaps forward faster than society can catch up, her words resurface. Were they divine revelations, sharp intuition, or just the product of a brilliant mind connecting dots before others could? The answer remains as mysterious as the woman herself. And so, Jeane Dixon's story leaves us with a question not about her, but about ourselves. If someone warned us of the future, would we believe them? Would we change it? Or are we doomed to follow the path we've already set in motion? What do you think? Was Jeane Dixon truly seeing glimpses of tomorrow, or simply weaving the fears and hopes of her time into predictions that still haunt us today? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're ready to explore more strange and fascinating stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell. We'll see you next time on JB Animated Myseries, where yesterday's mysteries become today's questions.